What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my tiny garage. Welcome to hopefully the last video of our four-part series of the Craftsman tiller fix. It has been quite the journey though so far. We have torn the whole thing down to the transmission, which is what you see here on the bench with me tonight. We have gone through and fixed the transmission. We have fully serviced the transmission, and we are ready to put this thing back together again. It's pretty exciting news, but definitely a big job in the future here for us. So in this video, we're going to go back through and reassemble it all. We're going to repaint the wheels. We're going to put a new carburetor in the engine, get everything back hopefully functioning again, with many other, I'm sure, problems and hang-ups along the way. But let's go ahead and jump in and get started on that, see what we can make happen. Very first thing I want to do is go through and get these wheels kind of painted here a little bit. We torched them up pretty good when we took them off, so I would like to go through and wire wheel them up a little bit, get some paint on. That way it can dry a little bit before we're ready for them. So I'm just going to go ahead and the tires are pretty new, so I'm not going to worry about putting new tires on. But these valve stems got a little hot, so we are going to put new valve stems on there. So let's go ahead and get these cut off. There we go. With a little bit of paint back on the wheels again, I think we're ready to get back to the main part of the transmission here. So I believe we will start is on the tines here. We'll go ahead and get them on, I guess, on the first thing. So I had these labeled, which side they went on. This here would be the left-hand side. This one here would be the right-hand side. I'm going to take a wire brush here and do my best to get some of this rust out of here. So that way, maybe later on down the road, should we have to take these off for whatever reason, we won't have to torch them out again, which would be pretty nice. Right or wrong, I'm going to do my best to make sure these do come off here. So I could use a few different things. I could use Never Seas, could use grease, and I think ultimately either one, dirt is going to end up getting caught in and just causing a mess. So I'm going to go with grease, and the reason why is Never Seas has just a little bit of granules in it. So because of that reason, I'm going to opt for going with grease in hopes that maybe it will help alleviate some of that wear as best as I can. Alright. Oh yeah, that slid right on there real nice. Get our new pins out here. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. Man, that is a well-made cotter pin. And a pair of pliers to help me out on this one. There we go. Alright. Back in business there. Alright, over here on this other side, I already used the wire brush to get out as much as I can. So go ahead and hit this with a little bit of grease. Tell you what, they sure do slide back on there a whole lot easier than they came off. Which is what we want, but it is always amazing when it happens. Spend all that time working and trying to get something out, just to have it slide back together again super easy. It's one of the best feelings ever. Very good. Alright, now that our tines are on, let's say our next step would be our rear shield. Of course, since we had to torch all the old ones off, went ahead and got new hardware. Splurged a little bit, got stainless this time. So hopefully we won't have all those same issues that we did. Alright, I'd say that guard is back into place. Good place to go from here is wheels. These are pretty well dry to the touch at this point. Might scratch them up a little bit, but we can always go back over and touch them up if we have to. Stuff here is called bead seal. It's basically a liquid rubber compound. Goes on and dries and helps the wheel to adhere to the tire. Helps minimize leaks. Tends to go a little sloppy when you're doing it, but it's kind of how it is. That's working out a little bit better. Look at that. Easy as pie. I hate to do it to our paint job, but I'm going to need a helping hand here. So we're going to use a vice grip. Help me hold that on there. There we go. There, we got it on there. All right, there's one. Here's number 2. Alright, back over here to the machine. Let's see if we can't get these on. Very good. That was easy enough. There's one side. Check out that unit. Nice pretty wheels, pumped up tires. This is definitely not an OEM setup, in case you're looking at this and wondering. This is somebody's adaptation of a Briggs & Stratton carburetor using a Tecumseh spin-on air filter. Not exactly maybe what I would have done. Not really sure what happened to the original airbox for it. This is the way it came to me. It seems to work decently well from the test that I did do when it was running briefly. Seemed to work okay, so I wasn't going to mess with it. I haven't come across a OEM airbox for it yet. So we're just going to run what we brung, as they say. And roll with that. We'll just leave that air filter off of there for now until we find out if it's for sure going to run and everything. It's been a little while for the old girl. I have high hopes, but before I get going too far, we'll just go from there. Everything is hooked back up the way it should be, except for the belt guard over here and few other miscellaneous small things, but the majority of it is all hooked up. So why don't we add a little bit of fuel into it? See if we can't get her to fire off here. Should be enough for our testing. Oh yeah. We have any leaks over here? Nothing that I see yet. Set to off. Let's set that over here to on. Alright, I see our fuel shutoff's leaking. Can deal with that. Nothing else seems to be at the minute. Alright. Let's make sure this thing's in neutral. So that's reverse. Alright, there's neutral. Last thing we want is this thing taking off on us. Okay. Move a few things out of the way. Alright, everything's looking pretty good. Let's give it full throttle. Reach up in here and give her some choke. Alright, we should be on. Let me check the oil here before I get too far ahead of myself. Make sure we do have that, as that would be mildly disappointing to get the whole way to this point and find out she don't have oil. Yep. It has oil. Not quite full, but full enough for this test. We don't plan to run it very long, so shouldn't need too crazy amount. Okay, let's see if she fires off here. Give her a whiff of the good stuff, if that makes any difference here for us. Oh, she tried. Give her a little more. Well, we were successful, at least partially. It is all back together. It does run and it does operate. The transmission does go back and forth, and it does tilt, moves the tines like it's gonna tilt. We almost lost it off the workbench. That was pretty close, but we got her saved just in time. I would say that it's pretty good. I'm happy with the progress. This video is probably getting pretty long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into another part yet. And on that part, we should hopefully be able to finish this up. At that point, I plan on going through the engine here, adjusting that carburetor a little bit, see what we can figure out, why it's not getting up to full RPM like it should. It would seem like something in there is messed up. I know there's a bunch of parts missing off of this engine. I'm not sure if that has something to do with it, or if the parts that are missing don't even matter to this application. So for that, we're just going to end this here. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Subscribe if you want to see more. I got plenty more of this coming. Like I said, got another part of this, and then all kinds of more projects we got planned. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have one of these tillers and if you like it or if you hate it. Thanks again for stopping by to watch. We will see you on the next one.